cook show again? When I was a young bachelor, I got a lot of practice cooking for myself, one dish meal, because I cannot afford the time to cook 5 dishes. And I'm going to show you some of those wonderful one dish meal. The great thing about this is all of these dishes are very, very simple, very, very easy to create. You don't need a whole lot of ingredients. Just open your fridge and you do whatever you want. I have recorded all these wonderful one dish meal in this little black book. I remember when I was growing up in China, everybody in China is carrying a little red book. But I think my little black book is a lot more exciting. So today, I'm going to share some of my secret with you from this little black book. This particular dish I call fragrant beef casserole. It's on page 645. This particular dish is very easy to do. You start it out with either sirloin or beef stew or even flank steak. Or I would prefer chuck steak. You need a whole chunk of chucks. When you say whole chunk, it sounds so masculine. This is approximately 3/4 pound to 1 pound. You cut it into chunks like this, about 1.5 inch chunks. You put them aside and you quickly marinate it with soy sauce, about 1 tablespoon soy sauce and about 2 teaspoons of, particularly use a tiny bit of cornstarch. All you need is about 1 to 1.5 teaspoons. Don't use too much, otherwise they get stuck and form a gigantic chunk meatball. See, when you have chunk, you get stuck. Now, in the meantime, you also want to make sure you heat up either frying pan, or you can use this a wok, frying pan, skillet. It doesn't make any difference. Heat it up because you want to brown the beef, okay? First of all, I want to brown the beef, okay? Marinate it for about 1 hour to 2. Nice and brown. In the meantime, I want to show you, you have to make some fragrant sauce. What I have is something like this. This is something we're going to use fragrant sauce. I have cinnamon stick. I have dry tangerine peel. And I have Szechuan peppercorn. And also, I'm quite sure some of you have seen this, some of you have not. This is lemongrass. When you use this, what I do is I cut this and set it aside and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. While you are doing this, make sure your beef is not burned, but brown. And then put them all together and set this aside and put it in a cheesecloth like this. You see this? Aside from this, I'm going to use a tiny bit of this daikon. This is daikon. Japanese cuisine is called daikon. Chinese called bak. It's actually the Chinese white turnip or white radish. And this, I will set aside. You peel it, and cut into chunks. I want to show everybody so everybody can see. I'm going to cut into chunks like this. Wrap all these fragrant sauce ingredients up. You put it over there. And then come back to this and make sure this is being brown. Okay? When it's brown, you know why you add a tiny bit of soy sauce? Not only you add soy sauce for color, but you also add for flavor. Because the soy sauce has a tiny bit of caramel. So when you brown it, the soy sauce kind of burn a little bit and caramelize and give that nice brown color. Now, stir this a little bit, allow nice uniform cooking. When you do this at home, the great thing about this, you can do it in about 2 weeks, 2 months, even 2 years ahead of time. You know why? Because you can freeze the darn thing. I have done something when I graduated from college, and I still enjoy it myself. Everybody knows if you simmer and stew something, the next day always tastes better than the same day. So this is why I want to show everybody how to do this. When this is done, you put 5 to 6 slices of ginger, some green onion, and this wonderful daikon. And then put a tiny bit of extra soy sauce. And then we are going to also put about 1 cup of beef broth. It depends on what kind of broth. You can use beef broth, you can use chicken broth. Doesn't make any difference. This is beef broth. And let it simmer in this. Allow this, of course, without this ingredient, there won't be any fragrant sauce. So put this in and allow it and cover this up, okay? And let it simmer for 30 minutes to allow the Chinese white turnip get to know the beef well. And not only that, look at this. Let it cook for a little while, and in the meantime, I want to show you how easy. Oh, you can either serve over rice, or you can serve over noodle. I have some noodle here, and you can also serve over rice. It doesn't make any difference, but today we'll serve it over noodle. When this is done, after 30 minutes, we'll shut this off, and we can actually use this to scoop this out. 1 dish meal. You said, what am I going to do with the leftover? With leftover, keep in the fridge. Try it again next day, next week, or next year. Now, let me smell it to see whether it's fragrant. It is so fragrant. I think you at home would like it. I think this is the fragrant beef casserole. I like it. Now, a lot of people don't know that mushrooms are very, very popular in Chinese cooking. So I'm going to show you a few of the mushrooms. Some of those you probably have seen it, but some of these are so exotic, you probably wouldn't be able to find it in your local market. Everybody have tried this or seen this. This is straw mushroom. In North America, only available in cans. When you open it up, it looks like it's a little big helmet. See? And then here is the regular button mushroom. You ran out, there's a lot of button in your house, so don't worry about it. This is very interesting. This is what you call trumpet mushroom. Looks like a little trumpet, see? So you can use this in soup, in stir-fry, and casserole dishes, even as a garnish. It's very nice in your salad. And this is what you call wood ear. See, this is black fungus. It's a mushroom. You soak them for about half an hour, and they would look like this. This is the back. This is the ugliest looking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. This, when you go out to Chinese restaurant, have mushi pork, hot and sour soup, those black crunchy things, they give nice texture. Not much flavor, a lot of good texture. And also, they are believed to lower your blood clot possibility. Slow down your blood clot, so very, very good. This is the regular shiitake mushroom. The Chinese call donggu. This is how it looks at the back, how it looks out. See, nice pattern like this. And you can even find fresh shiitake mushroom or Chinese donggu. Looks like this. Can you see this? You can buy them. You can actually grow them. You see? I grow them underneath my bed. And then aside from this, this is oyster mushroom. It looks like this. Oyster mushroom. Okay? And then also, this has also got a nice woodsy flavor. And how many of you know that this is enoki mushroom? Enoki mushroom. This is good for soup, for your salad, a garnish. It looks like a Chinese called golden needle mushroom. Looks like this. Look at this. And then here is the Chinese medicinal mushroom. It is very, very hard, and you can kill somebody with this. You see this? How many of you know that there are 2,000 mushrooms in the world, in the wild? The thing is, a lot of time people go out to get mushroom, harvest, pick mushroom. But you should be careful because some of those mushrooms are poisonous. So you should consult the local expert in mushroom because you don't want to pick up something poisonous. And also mushroom is very, very good. They're very low in salt, very low in sodium, very, very low in calorie. They got a very good texture, like the Chinese mushroom, got a very meaty texture and also got a meaty taste. And some of them got a little woodsy taste. That's why some people try truffle, because they got a woodsy flavor and aroma. And you can do it in soup, stir-fry, all kind of things. Now, the next dish I want to show you is also one dish meal. It's very easy to do. I call it stone soup over rice noodle. You can put over rice noodle, over rice, over wheat flour noodle, over long grain rice noodle, all kind of noodle. Or you can use this, just put in your spaghetti or pasta. It doesn't make any difference. I started out with anything. The reason why I call it stone is because anything you can find in your house, just throw it in. In the meantime, let me heat up my wok so I can get ready. In my fridge, I found some zucchini. So I'm going to put some zucchini over here. I julienne everything. See? Stack them all up. Hold onto your knife like this. See this? Everybody can use. And put the knife against your blade, and you go. Look at what you do. Set it aside and put it right here. Then you also cut up some carrot and mushroom. This is the shiitake mushroom. Soak it about half an hour. Remove the stem. And then julienne. Now, make it easier to julienne if you go like this. See? Just press the damn thing. Set it aside and put it right here. And then, in this particular dish, I also want to cut up some chicken because this is very easy. First, I want to butterfly the chicken like this, butterfly this, and then it come out twice as big, and I put them all together, and I julienne this, or just slice it up like this. Cut it up, and then I'm going to season this. I'm going to marinate this with a tiny bit of soy sauce, marinate the chicken, and a tiny bit of salt. If you don't want to use soy sauce, then use tiny type of wine, okay? Mix them all up with this. Set it aside for a few minutes, okay? Because you want to get this out of the excitement. Let it rest for a little bit so it won't get too excited. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to get a pot holder, and I'm heating up my wok, and also I'm going to get some oil, teaspoon or so, and then I am going to put the chicken in. Wow! Stir fry. Allow it to sit for a few seconds. Okay? When you stir fry, you move, you walk around, and you stir. Don't just stand there and go. You move. And then you put all kind of ingredients: mushroom, zucchini, and carrot. Okay? Stir. Stir. Move them around. Move them around. Stir. And then use approximately half a cup or so of broth, chicken broth, to finish the cooking. Stir this a little bit. As I said, I call this stone soup because I have enough broth here, and set it aside. And also, I'm going to thicken this up a little bit. Now, it depends on how many ingredients you have. I'm just joking. If you ran out of all this, you can actually use stone. Just kidding. And then put this over here. Let's set this aside. Now, this is done. When this is done, I want to show you, we are going to serve these over rice noodle. This is what they call rice stick noodle. It looks like this in packages. And you have to have 12 cups of water to bring it to a boil because this damn thing is very thirsty. It soaks up a lot of water, so you've got to make sure you have enough water when they do this. And then you need about 4 cups of broth. I have 4 cups of broth here. I want to show you. First, I serve in this stoneware. That's why I call it stone soup. The broth is nice and hot. Just because I call it stone soup, it doesn't mean that I am going to serve it stone cold. When this is nice and done, let me show you. This is actually called really nice. Look at this. I put this over here. Look at how beautiful the dish is. Look at this. And then, for a little garnish, you know what you can do? You can use a tiny bit of enoki mushroom that I just showed you earlier. Look at how beautiful. This is a wonderful dish. Stone soup over rice noodle. Now, of course, I don't need the stone, so we throw them away. We'll set this aside. The next dish I'll do is very, very simple. And I am going to do it over here so everybody can see. Once again, I'm going to heat up my wok, and I'm going to show you how to do a dish. It is so simple, everybody can do. It is shrimp with cashew nut. This is wonderful. I love it. Everybody can do it. You need approximately 3/4 pound of prawn. As I said, very easy to shell this. Look at this. All you have to do is take this one, twist this, and do it one more time, and you twist this, and the whole thing comes out very easily, like this, you see? And then all you have to do is remove and devein this by cut the right in the middle and remove this vein like this. Look at this. And then remove this. Of course, you should do them all at the same time in the sink. Otherwise, you got vein got stuck all over your finger. Okay? And you put it over here and let it marinate in about half a teaspoon of salt, some wine, and a tiny bit of cornstarch or tapioca starch. It doesn't make any difference. Make sure the wok is nice and hot. Okay? And then I'm going to have cashew nut. All you need is about 3/4 cup. But I normally always start with 1 cup because it's very important to start 1 cup because you got to test one of these for texture. And then you test another one for taste. By the time you finish all the quality control, you have exactly 3/4 cup. Now, I use approximately 2 teaspoons up to a tablespoon of oil. And then, this particular dish is very easy. I want to show you. You put this over here. Shrimp, when it's hot, put it over here. Okay. You can use regular spatula or this kind of spatula. It doesn't make any difference. You can use this spatula. Stir. Make sure you toss this, allow uniform cooking. Look at this. Make sure you catch the darn thing, otherwise you're going to have a picnic on the floor. Very important. Now, I have some green peas, frozen green peas. You do not have to worry about this because in order to make the dish look really wonderful, you should always cook the shrimp and everything else separately. You can remove the shrimp and give the shrimp a little coffee break when it's done. Put them all back. But in this particular case, it doesn't take too long to cook, so I'll put the snow pea down. You can use this green pea over here. Stir. Put a tiny, tiny bit of, in order to make it hot and spicy, sprinkle a tiny bit of chili pepper. And then some broth with about half a teaspoon of salt and a tiny bit of wine. Oh, look at this. And then, in the last minute, thicken it up. Use 1 portion of cornstarch to about 3 portions of water. Look at this. The whole thing is done. This is all we need. When it's done, we're going to serve these over rice. Cashew shrimp over rice. Of course, you cannot have cashew shrimp over rice unless you have cashew. If you forget cashew, you're going to be in trouble. Put the cashew in the last minute. See? Don't get so excited. And then you forget something. When you forget something, you got to change the name of the dish. When it's done, we'll put this right over here. Look at how beautiful. This is wonderful dish. Isn't this beautiful? When the Chinese chef prepare a dish, they always cut everything up into bite-sized pieces. This way they can use a chopstick. There are all kinds of chopsticks. Wood chopstick, bamboo chopstick. I want to show you some of those you probably have in your collection. And this is my collection of chopstick. Here, you have a lacquer chopstick here. And it's stored in this little gorgeous looking box. Look at this. When after you use it, you wash it and you put it back here. So nobody knows what's going on. And then you have these J chopstick. Can you see this J chopstick? When you use this, it also put on a J chopstick rest. And here, it is for somebody who got very frustrated when they eat. So they twist the lacquer chopstick like this. They just twist it. Once you twist it, there's nothing else you can do to reverse the process. Here, this is my favorite, ivory chopstick. Here, you have sterling silver, serving ware. In China, this is the most prized, ivory chopstick. And also, we have these cloisonné chopstick with ivory. Can you see how gorgeous it looks? And then you have the silver chopstick. I was told in the early days in Paris, in the imperial palace, the kings and the imperial family always use this kind of silver chopstick because if somebody tried to poison them, it will change this color, the silver, and then they know it's something. Here is one of my favorite chopsticks, just a regular cheap bamboo chopstick, 4.5 cents. And here you have something so ridiculous because this way you have, when you eat it, you have to break the damn thing up. You have to go like that, drive me crazy. And then this is my favorite. Look at this. I don't have to worry about the damn thing. But this is actually my second favorite because when I eat, I use this. This is cooking chopstick. This is a cooking chopstick. It's much longer. When you deep fry something or make noodle, you stir them around. And this is lethal weapon. This is also a cooking chopstick, stainless steel. You'll be very, very careful. So we're going to set these aside and put it back in my drawer. In the meantime, I want to show you a very, very interesting dish. This particular dish, I call it chicken and egg over rice. As I said, you can also put it over noodle. Let me turn on my heat again. Wrong burner. Now, if you want to cook the right thing, you got to turn on the right burner. Otherwise, you're going to take forever to cook. And also, I'm going to turn on this burner too, because this way, okay. Here, I have some chicken. All I need is approximately ½ pound of one chicken breast. And I have 1 egg because I want to make an omelet. And I also have some cucumber. I'm going to cut some cucumber because I want to. The most important thing about one dish meal is because you want to have not only meat, you also have some vegetables to give a variety of vitamins and minerals. So it's a well-balanced diet. How you doing, everybody? I hope you at home is having a good time too. As much fun as all of us here. Now here, it depends on how much bell pepper you have. If you don't have that much, if you have a lot of bell peppers, you just cut it out like this. Put them all together. If you don't have enough bell pepper and you have to feed about 50 people, all you have to do is trim this. Look at this. My goodness. And then you go. Nice and thin. This way you can feed 4 times as many people. Now, I am going to set this aside. Oh, also, how many of you like Szechuan pickle? I also would want to use a tiny bit of Szechuan pickle. Slice a little piece, and I will julienne this like this. There's a lot of ways to cut to julienne. This is julienne. So this is going to be a very delicious dish. First, I'm going to get some oil. 2 teaspoons here. 2 teaspoons here. For one, I'm going to make omelet with this. See? I'm going to make a little omelet right here. Please stay together. And then in the meantime, I'm going to stir fry this. Now, here I have chicken. Turn it up high so everybody can see when you stir. Stir fry means when the damn thing is frying, you stir and you toss. And then it doesn't take too long to cook because it didn't take too long to cook because it's chicken. If it's pork, it takes a little bit longer to cook. If beef, it takes even shorter. Because you slice it in bite-sized pieces, you can use a chopstick. That's why I always say, walk softly and carry a chopstick. And then you put all of these bell pepper, cucumber, Szechuan peppercorn, a tiny bit of green onion. Put them all together. Look at this. Stir, stir, stir. And then use a tiny bit of broth with about a tablespoon of soy sauce and about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of wine or dry sherry. And then thicken it up. Look at how easy. Always get enough cornstarch and mix with water. When it's done, we are going to serve right over this gorgeous looking plate. You see how beautiful when this is done. First, you slide this because this is really nice and beautiful. Look at how beautiful. It's a 1-dish meal. And then you put this right over here. Look at how beautiful. All this one dish meal. Now, you see how easy it is to create delicious one dish meal for yourself, for your friends? And it's all in this little black book. Yen's little black book. Soon to be bestseller. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you so very much today to watch the Yen Can Cook show and also to come over here to see us. I would like to take this opportunity once again to say, if Yen can cook, so can you. Join in.